Good morning all of you. Today we are going to discuss about verbs, that is unit number 6 of our English grammar. Verbs we have studied in our earlier classes also. But now we will be studying verbs in a different way with more precision. So first of all we will know that what is verbs. So, verbs is commonly known as a doing verb. It is also known as an action verb. In our earlier classes, when we were studying about verbs, we have studied that verb is a doing. It is also known as an action. It describes the action of the noun. So, when we are studying about verbs in this class, we will discuss that verb is also an action word and it also represents the situation or the state of the noun. So, verb is also known as state of being. Now we will take some examples of action and state. So if I say I play cricket. So here play is the verb of a sentence because it describes the action of the noun or a pronoun. I play cricket. So this means that play is the action word here and it is the verb of the sentence. Now in this example, this was example 1. In the second one, suppose I write a sentence like I am good student. So here there is no action word in this sentence. But whenever we are writing a sentence, the sentence must contain a verb in it. But here we are not able to see any action word in this sentence. So here there is also verb am. In other sentences, am is known as a helping verb. But if the sentence is not having a main verb in it, the am will work as the main verb of the sentence. So here am is the verb of the sentence, but am represents the situation of the noun or the pronoun. So further, this was the understanding about the verbs as action word and situational verbs. So now we will discuss the different types of the verbs in this class. So we have discussed the verbs as an action word and situation words. Now we will discuss the different types of the verb. First of all, we'll look at the transitive and intransitive kind of verbs. So basically, what is transitive and intransitive verbs? So, for example, this is the example of transitive verbs and this is the example of intransitive verbs. In this sentence, my mother washes clothes in washing machine. So, washes is the verb here. And in this sentence, the baby slept. Slept is the verb. So first of all, transitive verbs. Transitive verbs always require object in it. So basically, what is the object of a sentence? Object is the later part of the sentence which depends on the verb of the sentence. Here, washes is the verb and clothes is the object of the verb washes. So now, in this sentence, the baby slept. Slept is the verb, but this verb do not require any kind of object. As it is written here, transitive verbs require object and intransitive verbs do not require any object in it. So basically, in this example, washes is the verb which requires the object, and in this intransitive example, the baby slept. Slept is the verb, but it do not require any object. So this sentence is having transitive verb and this is intransitive sentence, intransitive verb. Verb have three different main parts. Verb depends on the tense of the sentence. The present tense, the past tense and the future tense. For example, he asks question all the time. Ask is the verb. It is the present tense. He asked a question all the time. Here it turns into asking because this is past tense. And he will ask questions all the time. It will ask because that is the future tense. So basically this is to explain you that verb in a sentence depends upon the tense of the sentence. We have studied different verbs as an action word, situation word, verb as a transitive, as intransitive. Now in this we will study that verbs are also of regular and irregular kind. So regular verbs do not change their whole spelling, right? For example, verb. When we look at this verb, clean, it do not changes when converted into present tense, past tense or the past participle. It not fully change but a little bit changes are there. For example, clean is the basic verb. When it goes to the present tense, it becomes cleans. Then in past, it becomes clean. And in past participle, it remains the clean. Now, if we look to this example, listen, it is also doing the same thing. Listen becomes listens, then listen and listen. Same as in this try becomes tries, then after try, and again in past participle form, it is try. But on the other hand, there are some verbs which fully changed into a different new word when it is the sentence is moving from present tense to the past tense. For example, be is one of that kind. Be is the basic form. But when we are using be in the present tense or the present tense sentences, it becomes is, am or are. It depends on the sentence whether it is, whether to use am or to are. If be is used in the past tense, it becomes the was and were. Again, it depends on the sentence. It is was or the were. But when be is used in the past participle form, it becomes be. Another example, like go. Go is the basic verb. When we use go in the present tense, it becomes goes. Then after in past tense, it becomes went. And in past participle, it is becoming gone. So the examples like be, go, which are the basic verbs, and changes fully when moving towards the past tense, past participle or the present tense, it fully changes. So that verb is basically known as the irregular verbs, as it is written here. And the verbs which are not fully changed but small changes are done with them when converting the sentence into present tense or the past tense or the past participle form, then it is slightly changing. That is, that verbs, these examples, clean, listen, dry, this kind of examples are known as a regular verbs, and the words which fully change like be, go are known as the irregular verbs. Earlier in our previous classes, we have studied that verbs are having two different types. For example, in this class, earlier we discussed transitive, intransitive verbs, regular and irregular verbs. Now we will look at the other kinds of verbs as auxiliary and the main verb. Auxiliary verbs are also known as the helping verb. The sentence contains two different verbs. The first is the helping verb and other is the main verb of the sentence. To understand it better, look at this example. The train is going to Mumbai. Here is acting as a auxiliary verb and going is the main verb of a sentence. Is used in this sentence to help the going to make it as a present tense, to state the tense of the sentence. Auxiliary verbs are being used. So the principal auxiliary verbs are to be, to have and to do. These are further converted into different words so that it may be used in the other kinds of sentences with the other tenses. So first of all, to be here, when it is coming in the present tense, it becomes is, am or are as a helping verb. So is here was acting as a form of principal auxiliary and that was to be, form of to be. It is. So is in present tense and this sentence is in the present tense. If is to be further converted into the past tense, it becomes was or were. When it changes into the past participle, it is used as a be. The form of the to be, which is principal auxiliary verb, it is further changed when it is in the present, when it is in the past or the past participle. For example, if we convert this sentence into the past tense, it will become like the train was going to Mumbai, because if is or the form of to be is converted into the past tense, it becomes was. So that's why is will be replaced with the word was. Now, if we look at the form of to have, it will converted. If it will be converted into the present tense, it will become have or has. If it is converted into the past, it will become had. And simply, if it is converted into the past participle form of the verb, Similar, to do is also further converted into do or does in the present tense, did in the past tense, and done in the past participle form. Now we'll look at this another example. The boys have eaten their dinner. So eaten is the main verb of a sentence, but eaten did not describe the exact tense of the sentence. So that's why auxiliary verb have is being used here to describe the exact tense of the sentence. Have here means have is in the present tense, and have the boys have eaten their dinner. So this sentence is again in the present tense, as was the train was also in the present tense. As we have converted the first example into the past tense, now we will convert the second example also into the past tense to understand it better. So the sentence is the boys have eaten their dinner. If we will convert this sentence into the past tense, it will become, what will have become? It will become had. As is was becoming was, the have will become had. So the sentence will be expressed as the boys had eaten their dinner. So simply by changing the auxiliary verb, the tense of the auxiliary verb, we can simply change the sentence into the present, past or the past participle form. As now we have discussed the different types of verbs as transitive, intransitive, main verb, helping verbs, and regular, irregular verbs. Now we will look at the formation of the verbs. First of all, verbs are being formed by nouns, adjectives. First, if we look at the nouns, like food is a noun, breathe is a noun, food becomes the verb as feed, and breath becomes the verb as breathe. Just in this adjectives, new becomes renew and full becomes fill. So there are different words which are converted into verbs from nouns and adjectives. Now if we look at the other words, there are some other words which are becoming verbs by adding some prefix or suffix to the other main words. For example, if we look at the prefix an, able is a main word which becomes unable, that is the verb, and courage becomes encourage, just like able was becoming unable. Unable is verb, encourage is verb. If we look at the suffix en is used with lose and it becomes the verb loosen. Then if we add suffix to the word dark, it will become the verb dark. So it is the way how some actual words with the help of the prefix and suffix becomes the another verb. For another example in prefix, be, if we take be, little becomes be little and head becomes be head. When we add prefix be to them, this both becomes verb be little and be head. In the suffix side, ies is the suffix. If it is added with the word equal, the verb becomes equalize, and if it is added to real, it becomes verb realize. So this is how the formation of verb is done, by adding suffix or the prefix to the basic word, we can make different verbs. Thank you and have a nice day.